Echo E2 will now break stealth. I'm not sure what this exactly means. I don't really like what this matters mostly in Akali Echo matchup is what I'm thinking. Okay. So AP Israel is getting some absurd ass buffs. Q AP ratio up by 35%. W AP ratio 90% at all ranks. You are usually maxing W first, right, on AP Israel, and then R AP ratio also up by 20%, and then R damage against minions and non-epic monsters will go down, but will have a lot higher AP ratio, so in all around it will just be higher. I think these numbers look insanely absurd. You also have to consider that E already has a good AP ratio, right? And it's not written here because it's not getting changed. These changes look absurd. I would be very surprised if these numbers actually go through. I think APSL would be a very viable build with this amount of numbers, and maybe even if you go AD, maybe you're just gonna go Gunblade because the AP ratios are there, right? Cannon will get W empowered auto. It will not be able to crit, which is good thing. And then critical strikes while lightning rush buff is active will increase the duration of the buff by 1 second, up to 4. So that means that Riot is more incentivizing crit cannon than they are on-hit cannon. But I would argue that on-hit cannon was kind of fits the champion better. So I'm not really hopeful about some crit cannon build really coming online with this small amount of changes. Next up we have Teemo. Teemo will get on-hit damage, will get 10% bonus AD, and E-Poison will get 5% bonus AD. I actually think this is not that bad of an idea, but I do think that AP Teemo should always be better than AD Teemo, and AP Teemo will still be the most optimal way to play Teemo. Zhao, this is the second champion that is getting some absurd changes. So for some reason, Riot is really fond of buffing AP Zhao. Now, AP Israel makes a lot of sense to me. AP Zhao just feels kind of random to me. Like, might as well buff AP Jax or something. Like, what? Passive healing will go, will have worse AP ratio early, but better AP ratio later. So, depends how you look at it, right? W slow will now scale with AP ratio. E AP ratio will be doubled. And then E bonus attack speed will be it will have last base attack speed, so it's going to be nerfed to a bruisers in, but it's going to have 1+% per 5% per 5% permanent attack speed. Per 5% permanent attack speed? So that incentivizes him to buy attack speed builds like Nashor, I guess. And then 10% per 100 AP attack speed. Okay, it's a lot, but so what I'm thinking here is that even though he's getting a lot of attack speed and he's gonna do a lot of damage, I don't really see why this build would be very strong. What's gonna be strong about it is the high amount of attack speed is going to make you get a lot of passive hits. So it's gonna be basically high attack speed, a lot of sustain, and some burst with E type of build. Because Q, you have to remember, I think Q doesn't have AP ratio. And W, I'm not even sure if it does, and if it does, it's a small one, as far as I can remember. So, it's definitely gonna be goofy build, and it's definitely going to be kind of viable to the point. It's kind of like AP Aurelia. You're not, I mean, it's probably a little bit better than AP Aurelia, but because it's more consistent. You can't really miss a spell. But I'm just trying to think like, what's the build? Like Nashor, I guess, is the item really that is being incentivized here. I'm not sure what else. Like, there's no other item in the game that really... Gunblade, Nashor, I don't know, something like that. Okay, next up. Zeri. So, new changes on Zeri. Attack range will go back to 550, which is the release range of Zeri. Excess attack speed to AD ratio will go down. So, she gets less by having a lot of attack speed in the build. Q damage will go... up base and lower scaling. W AP ratio is doubled. There was some build back in the day with like first strike Leechbane AP Zeri. W crit damage will become worse, and then E bonus damage is also gonna be up base, but it's going to lose AD ratio, bonus AD, so it's going to be overall worse as well. E empowered auto attacks. Why does it say next 3 auto attacks to next 5 seconds? I'm kind of confused here because I thought Zeri E can do more than 3 auto attacks. What? This has to be wrong. E cooldown up by too early. E refund charge basic attacks plus Q to charge basic attacks plus abilities. So I guess W and maybe ult don't refund anymore. Okay, that's whatever. Our AD ratio down by 40%. Our bonus moon speed up by 5%. Our moon speed per stack up by 0.5%. And our stack duration also up by 1 second. So what they're trying to do here is they're oh, it's only 3 autos? I didn't know that. What the fuck? Okay. What they're trying to do here with Zeri is that they're trying to basically shift her identity to be more about moon speed, which is how she was originally intended, and to give her back the high attack range that she used to have. I think this is fundamentally right for the champion long term. I kind of like what they're doing here. Now, obviously, they have to nerf a lot of the stats on spells and Q and auto attacks because obviously 50 range on a champion is a lot of a fucking very big buff. That's like, I don't know, at least 3% probably of win rate or something like absurd like that. I think it's good long term. Will these numbers be completely balanced when it comes out? I can't adopt it. It's either going to be too OP or too weak. But I like it long term. And yeah, I think the champion's kit just will feel a lot better and function better with 550 attack range. I didn't think 500 attack range, which is like what Rao did intentionally because she was like such a big problem. The current version of Zeri, like maybe Rao just thinks they're going to be able to balance her better now, and 550 attack range is not going to be as big of a problem anymore. Okay, so items. We have some new items coming in now as well, right? So Axiom Arc, this is the lethality item, will basically have less base but better per lethality cooldown refund. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, what is the math here? I'm trying to think. I don't know what the math is, honestly. Somebody will know how much lethality you need to break even, but I guess if you have very little lethality in the build and you just slap this item, the item will be worse. If you have probably most of the lethality items in your build, I assume the item is going to be better. You need 50 lethality for it to be even. So that means you need, what, 2 to 3 items for it to be even. And since, like, let's say you're in a Fury jungle, you're rushing Profane, then you're buying this second, yeah, it's a slight nerf on the second item, but by the time you have your third item, maybe it gets better. Not sure. It's arguable, right? Because maybe in the Fury jungle we go Serel third, and then that doesn't give you lethality. Overall, it's same fucking item. Who fucking cares? Doran's Bow. Okay, we have the new Doran's items in the game that Riot was talking about. They're gonna add 2 new starting Doran items. They are not for AP class. They are just simply for ADCs and Doran's Helm. Okay, so this one is really interesting. Doran's Bow. 6 attack damage, 15% attack speed, 1.5 Omnivamp, 400 gold. I saw a lot of debate on this. People think this is going to be very OP. When I first saw this item, I'm kind of feeling that it's probably gonna be worse than Doran's Blade. So what I don't like about the item is that it's 400 gold. This is something you have to account here, is that you're getting 2 potions instead of 1. I don't know why Riot did this. I feel like this item would feel better if it was 450 gold like other Doran's items, and then you would buff the stats a little bit. Why is my cam dying? So the reason why I'm thinking this item is going to be worse is you have to understand Doran's Blade gives you, I think, like 80 HP, and HP is a very powerful stat, especially early in the game. It's usually a better stat than attack speed, and it gives you also more Omnivamp, and it gives you more AD. Now, yeah, 15% attack speed is not nothing, right? And if you're playing a free matchup, like, you have to understand, like, attack speed, as much as you're getting 80 HP on Doran's Blade, if you get one more auto attack in a trade because of this, then essentially, you know, maybe this is actually even to Doran's Blade in a way, right? But 15% XP is also like more push in lane. This is something you have to account for, right? You're gonna auto attack the minions faster, so you're gonna be able to fight for level 2 and 3 easier. So it's really hard to say if this is going to be better than Doran's Blade. Like, I don't want to lean to either side, but it's not as black and white as people make it out to be. 80 HP is so powerful for early all-ins, but maybe if you space properly, this attack speed could end up really benefiting you. I don't know. But for now, I'm gonna say that my feeling is Doran's Blade will be better for now, but I could be wrong. Doran's Helm, on the other hand, same amount of HP as Doran's Shield, but it will give you 10 flat armor, 10 flat magic resist, and then a little bit of a passive for minion damage. Okay, so people are saying that this is kind of weak, and the Doran's Shield region is just gonna be better. Is this truly the case? Depends, right? So, also, before I continue, 15% attack speed, Yasuo and Yon, are we gonna buy this because our Q goes down? Maybe. But those champions really need flat health too. Anyway, yeah, to continue on. So obviously Cassante is a champion that could mostly benefit from this because he gets Q cooldown and stuff reduced with armor and MR, right? This is the champ that will mostly benefit from this item. But I think, you know, it is true that in hard lanes, you're only taking, usually when you play against a champion, you're only taking one type of damage, right? Like most champions will mostly have either only physical damage or magic damage. It's very rare that you're playing against a Jax who does like, you know, more mixed damage. So, this item, yeah, if you think you have some NPC lane where you can basically survive pre-first recall quite easily, and then you're gonna base, then yeah, this item will probably be better than Doran's Shield by a little bit. Doran's Shield is essentially a better item pre-first recall for the most part, but it's a worse item post-first recall. So that's all it comes down to, really. Are you gonna get through the lane easily, then you buy this item. Else you probably don't. Like a good example of why I think this item is a good addition to the game is, let's say you're playing, I don't know, let's say you're playing Darius versus Aatrox. In my opinion, Doran's Shield passive in that lane, I don't think it's that important because Aatrox operates in burst patterns, especially when he gets Q points. He doesn't really poke you, quote unquote. So I feel like in that lane, you might actually just consider going this item instead. Is what I'm thinking. Okay, Dusk and Dawn. 50 health loss, 10 AP loss, 5% attack speed loss. Item is losing a lot of stats. Echo, the famous Dusk and Dawn abuser. You have to understand, Echo losing 10 AP might fuck his wave clear breakpoint with Q. So that's something to consider. The item now, though, will heal for 10% AP and 3% bonus HP. So, if I understand correctly, 3% bonus HP is like 40 health or something like that. And then 10% AP at that point is like, yeah, item is gonna heal you like 50 health when you complete it, right? Something like that. If my math is here correct, right? Depending on if you have, if rune shards count or stuff. So the heal early game is gonna be a bit weak, maybe. But if you get more HP or more AP, it's gonna heal you more, right? So you have to understand, even though the item loses 50 health, just one proc of Spellblade is probably giving you back all the health that you lost. So the question here is that 10 AP loss and 5% attack speed for a lot more healing. Is this a buff? Is this a nerf? Just depends, I guess. Definitely think it's scary that Riot is doing this to an item. But I definitely think this Spellblade passive that you see here, this is a lot worse on junglers than it is on laners, right? Because laners will... Oh, my math is wrong. My math was wrong. Yeah, this item is not healing you 50 HP when you complete it. It actually will heal you a lot less than that. It's gonna heal you like 20 to 30 early game. Yeah, you're right. Okay, anyway, to continue on. So everything that I was saying was wrong. You'll probably need like 2 or 3 procs early game to make up for the health loss, and then obviously later on the item will scale and become better. But yeah, basically this item is suited better for laners because laners will need HP more than, like, sustain more than junglers. That's the TLDR. But yeah, it just depends, I guess, what type of champ you're playing, if you feel like this is a buff or a nerf. So the new boots that are coming into the game, 950 gold, so they are kind of cheap, right? Lucidity are 900, so these are quite cheap boots. 45 MS, 4% Omnivamp, passive slaying, gain 1% Omnivamp on champion takedown, stacking up to 6 items. I don't like this item. I wish this didn't come into the game. This is just going to be another snowball problematic item where some champions will have a very, like, champions that like really like to kill and will abuse the Omnivamp a lot are just gonna fucking buy this, and they're gonna heal so much, and we're gonna add so much unnecessary sustain to the game just because of these boots. So personally, I'm not a big fan. I think the passive is already like suited to be junglers heavy, because jungling is a killing role. They're gonna get kill participation a lot easier than other roles. So just not a fan. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a nightmare to balance, right? It's like such a problematic balance item. So if you complete it to tier 3, you're gonna get a new passive, which is now, if you're above half health, deal 5% increased damage, while below half health, gain 15% increased healing, shielding, and regeneration, which means that basically you want to be below half health, because this is really strong. 15% healing, shielding, and regeneration is also gonna basically increase your Omnivamp. And then if you're playing some sort of a champion, like Vladimir or something like that, and you go fucking below 50% health, man, you're getting so much healing for free. I also think there's gonna be champions that are going to insanely like abuse this to the maximum. Some healing champs, like, I'm worried about this. Opportunity goodbye. Staff of Flowing Water, 5 less haste, passive effect will now give you 15 haste. Probably a net buff to the item, honestly. But personally, not a fan, because it just feels bad that I personally like consistency a lot more than sometimes when this passive is up, you're getting like stats. It just feels weird, but yeah, it's probably a buff. Static Shoe, new item. 3k gold, expansive, 40 AD, 40 AP, 30% attack speed, moon speed. You do the lightning, the chain lightning, that does increase damage to minions like now. 6, 10, 14, 20. So if you go to level 20, AK you're a top laner, you're gonna get additional chain. Although this is not that important, because this is obviously, this passive is early game skewed, right? It's flat damage, it's gonna fall off as the game progresses. But what's really important, this is the biggest change right here. The chain lightning applies on hit effects. This means that if you're playing Doran and you have this item and you Q and it's present to everyone, you're going to silence the whole team, right? You're playing Vayne and you auto-attack, W will be procced on everyone else as well. There's gonna be some fucking weird ass interaction. But obviously when you first read the item, honestly, to me, it just kind of feels like some sort of an ADC item. I think range champions abuse this item a lot better than melee champions. So I'm thinking like something like Vayne, Kai'Sa, maybe Zeri, something that also has AP ratios in the kit, right? Like, there's also Volibear, I guess, that could use it. I mean, people are obviously going to experiment and find like some fucking combo that's going to be absurd with this. On the other hand, Akshan does have some AP ratios in his kit, but they are not that good. So maybe Akshan as a champion is going to be sad, because this item is probably just going to be a straight up nerf for somebody like Akshan compared to the current version. And I guess other than that, I think this is scary, scary. But I understand the game maybe needs some new items, or like some fun effects or some goofy builds here and there. Trailblazer removed. Voltaic Cyclosword, 8 less lethality. Abilities can now trigger energized effects. Your energized attacks deal 10 to 8% target's current health as bonus physical damage. Grant you 15 to 12 lethality for 4 seconds. And it costs less. Yeah, we're gonna have to fucking nerf this. There's no way this makes it to the live server, surely, right? There's so many champions that will just abuse this, like Smolder maybe, EZREAL, I don't know, like it's just absurd. So there's also some Summoner's Rift changes. Caster minions will do less damage to other minions, so waves will push a little bit slower. Melee minions will be 10 health squisher level 1, I guess. But they will get more per upgrade or something. So they're gonna end up being tankier as the game progresses, slightly. Siege minions will also do less damage to other minions. So overall, waves will push a little bit slower. So the need for wave clear will go up in a way, right? Like slightly. They're nerfing bottling quests. You're gonna get 10 less gold per takedown, I guess, per quest, when you complete the quest. So good job, Riot. I've been saying top and bot quests are a little bit OP. Mid lane quest is 6% bonus AD and AP. This number is very small, right? This is like 30 AP late game at full build or whatever, right? And even less as in early to mid game. It's obviously mid lane quest. I think Empowered Recall is just strictly better than 6% bonus AD and AP. And the way I explain this is, obviously Empowered Recall is very highly skewed, because highly players will use the tempo of Empowered Recall really well. But if you just get a kill, if you just get a Dragon, if you just get a pick somewhere, if you just get 2 minion waves or with the cannon, if you just get something because you had Empowered Recall and you were faster on the map and you got the tempo play off, then it just completely outvalues 6% bonus AD and AP. So obviously, all mid lane players should unite right now and start a riot and fucking ask Riot to bring back mid lane to its former glory days, because this role feels like a second support these days, and this quest is a joke. But it is what it is. Quest for top lane will also get less bonus XP overall, but it will now grant bonus XP on takedown. So I have no idea how much XP, how many takedowns you necessarily need for this to be a buff. But there are a lot of games where top is just on an island, right? So it will make roaming and snowballing and fighting a lot as a top laner a little bit more rewarding. Again, you have to understand, champions that like to kill are buffed. Champions that like to be more passive and scale more are slightly nerfed here. Like as Ornn, you're not really gonna make a lot of plays unless your ult is up, right? But as Aurora, you're probably gonna want to fight perma and roam to every river skirmish and stuff like that. So maybe not the best example, but you get my point. So overall, I would say these quests are similar. Still gonna be kind of, yeah, they're just all similar. Halo Blades. Gain 120 to 60 attack speed. Are these same numbers? Halo Blades wiki. Halo Blades current numbers are same as, no, Halo Blades is 80% and 160%, right? From what I can see. So it's nerfed in attack speed, it's nerf. But it will now deal 4 to 20 plus 0.006 AP and bonus AD. 2 damage for 2 attacks. Attack resets increase the attack limit by 1. Okay, so
looking good, name a Pat.
Is this a nerf? Is this a buff? I mean, I feel like it's a buff for the most part. Because it's very rare that you need the 20% or whatever, 40% more attack speed on a combo to get all your attacks off, right? As long as you get equal amount of attacks off in your combo, you're just doing more damage because you're doing more true damage. Like, if you're Echo and you E to the enemy level 1, you're simply doing what, 12 more true damage because you do 3 attacks or whatever? I don't know, man. I feel like this is a buff to the Keystone, but overall, probably kind of same. Like it's probably kind of similar Keystone at the end of the day. So here's one of the changes that I really like. I think this is awesome. Damaging a champion with an ability, like Comet. Okay, I need to actually read. Like, did Comet Viki lol? Because like, is this? Do these have the same numbers as right now? So this is 15 to 100. Right now it's, oh, it's 30 to 140. Okay. And it's same amount of AP ratio, same amount of AD ratio. Okay, so it's 40 damage less base, but it's now going to increase by 0 to 100% based on distance. And max range is at 750 units. And cooldown is 12 to 8, while the previous cooldown of Arcane Comet is, where's the cooldown? 12 to 6. 6.5, okay. I still think overall, my feeling is that this is a buff to the Keystone. I love what they're doing here. If you're a mage like Vel'Koz, Hui, maybe Orianna, Syndra, anything that has remotely any range, you're gonna want to play this, man. Because you're going to be proccing this Keystone at max distance for the most part. And the damage increase is gonna be quite noticeable. It's going to be more damage than before. So I really like the changes here. I think they nailed this one. Yeah, nice. Storm Raider Search, 25 of champions max health. So some champs will do it very easily. Like Garen, Lux, Syndra, Ori. Within 3 seconds. Grants 40% move speed. And 50% slow resist for 3 seconds. So let's compare it to the current Phase Rush. Because current Phase Rush is the worst Keystone in the game. Current Phase Rush will give you 12.5 to 26.47. So, and then 50% slow resist. So it is a better Phase Rush. Cooldown of the current Phase Rush is what? 30 to 7. And this one is 12 to 10. I mean, there's no doubt it's better than the current Phase Rush on every range champion. It's worse for every melee champion, probably. For melee champions, it could be worse, arguably, depending on if you have damage in your kit. For Garen, it's fine. But for range champions, it is better, no matter what. It is just better, Keystone. But it's not so much better to the point where everyone's gonna take it, I feel like. But I could be wrong. It is, for sure, a decent Keystone. Death Touch, 1 to 10. Burn, adaptive damage per second, 3% AP ratio, okay. After burning for 3 seconds, the damage of the burn increases by 100% while they remain on fire. So if you keep refreshing it, right, because like single target ability will do 4 seconds. So like I'm thinking Victor will really love this. He's gonna Q, wait 4 seconds, do E, another 4 seconds, he's burning you for 7 to 8 seconds. And then the burn damage is also increasing. This is really good on some champions that like to cycle abilities, and it seems like single target damage is really where champions benefit, which is like Victor Q will be really good with this. I'm trying to think like who else is gonna love this. Like Swain is probably gonna be okay with it. Malzahar is gonna be happy because the dot is gonna keep refreshing it. So if you E someone with Malzahar, like Malzahar is just getting basically 50 to 100 damage in the kit, pretty much, right? And Malzahar currently plays Comet, but the Comet can miss. And this is going to strictly do more damage than the Comet in every single scenario. So Malzahar is just buffed, right? Cassiopeia will probably also like this, because she can constantly E. So every E is gonna apply 4 seconds of Death Touch. So you can basically perma-burn the enemy, as long as you are able to hit them. Karthus, probably also gonna like it, yeah. Brand also gonna like it. Like every dot champion is so good with this. I mean, Brand is the same, right? Like Brand mid lane and Brand jungle are just gonna play this because This Keystone is just strictly more damage than Dark Harvest and more damage than Comet in every single scenario. Well, I expected a little bit more changes than what they've shown, but we'll take it. Can't be too negative these days. Not too happy as a mid lane player though. I'm happy about the Comet's changes, but there's nothing really exciting about this new season as a mid lane player. The new quest, definitely not excited for that one.